שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים לפני אוצר, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל שירו לאדוני.
La 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 Shabbat Shalom. This is our weekly moment of blessing. Not that we don't have other wonderful moments throughout the days, but on Shabbat, we pause and consider, we appreciate the blessings the past week has brought, from the simple to the sublime. As Rabbi Chaim Stern reflects, what a blessing it is to work and then to rest. Especially today, I feel rich in blessing, the blessing of your spirit that pervades all things living and inanimate, the joy of family love and the gift of friendship. Give me always a heart grateful as in my sunniest day, a soul thankful as in the hour of my highest joy. We begin our worship this evening giving thanks for the blessings we possess, welcoming Shabbat with light on page 3. It's my pleasure to invite Janie Coleman up to offer the reading before the blessing.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
And we continue with Kiddush on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadsho v'avahu v'ratzon hinchidanu zikaron l'mahaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila le'mekra'e kodesh zecher l'tziad Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta, v'yatanu kidashta, michol ha'amim, v'shabbat kashecha, v'ahava v'ratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat. Chaim.
We continue with Kabbalat Shabbat, our entrance into Shabbat services, beginning on page 12 with Psalm 95, Lehu Neranana. As we say, come, let us sing joyously to Adonai.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Lechon ranin al Adonai, Nariya letzor yeshenu, Nekad mafana betoda, Bismirot nariya lo, Bismirot nariya lo. Sing the light lies with us. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya And we turn now to page 22 as we sing Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, giving thanks for God's goodness. Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Lehagid Baboker, Baboker Chastecha, Ve'emunatcha B'Leilot. Lehagid Baboker, Baboker Chastecha, Ve'emunatcha B'Leilot. Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, Tov Lehodot L'Adonai, Ulezamer L'Shimcha Elyon.
Turn back to page 20 so that we can join together in the words of Lecha Dodi as we welcome that Sabbath spirit towards us with our voices. Whether you are in the sanctuary or joining us on live stream, we sing together as one, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach that 9th verse, we stand facing towards the entrance of our sanctuary, really beckoning that spirit towards us. Join together.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nikavela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavela. Shamor v'zachor midimor echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet, v'litila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavela. Likrat Shabbat Lecha v'necha, Ki mekor haberacha, Merosh mikedem Nesucha sof ma'aseh, B'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavela. Hitoreri, Ki va'orech, Kumi Ori, Uri, Shir daveri kavod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat Nekavela. Bo'i v'shalom Atarebala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tola, Toch emunei am segula. Bo'i kala, Bo'i kala.
turn to the person next to you, the person behind you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Let them know you are glad they're here. We continue with Chatzi Kaddish as we remain standing. I tried to get you before you sat down. As we remain standing through Shema, page 26.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad yichar kirutei v'yamlik malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei lecha beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, v'mizman karim v'yimeru. Amen. Yehesh me'rava mevarach le'olam v'lo me'omaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shenei d'chudesha merichu le'la min kol pirchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nachamata damira me'alma v'yimeru. Amen. Barak et Adonai HaMevorach. Barak et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai.
Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma potech sha'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakira kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Together on 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, seated as we continue chanting on page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת.
On page 38. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה Baruch atah Adonai, Gah Yisrael.
At the top of page 43, we join together in Hashkivenu. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש.
We turn to page 46 and rise together for the Amidah.
Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Afi Yagid Tehilata Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Afi Yagid Tehilatacha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatacha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasei Ahavot v'Imahot, V'Mei Gula Lifnei V'neihem, Leman Shema V'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atarav L'Hoshia, Marid Hatal, Mechakel Chagim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Oholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, tzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'ema nata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, v'chayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shincha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Page 55 at the top, we join together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. So I want you to turn to page 57. But one of the things that I love about Mishkan Tefillah is that there are so many incredible readings throughout the book. And sometimes it feels like we do the same ones. And I'd like to share one with you from elsewhere in the book. And then we will come together for the Chatimah, our closing sentence, together, which you see on page 57. You can choose either one because they're the same. All right. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha be'ira na'avod. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha lecha na'eh lehodot. On page 60, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael ba'shalom.
At this moment in our service full of blessing, it's my pleasure to invite up Angela and Steve Rubin. They have a double blessing. I'll tell you in just a moment. So come on up and join me in front of the ark for a special blessing. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel. May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors before us bless these cherished members of our congregation, Angela and Steve, as they celebrate two major milestones, Steve and Angela's 40th wedding anniversary and Angela's 60th birthday. You were like a baby when you got married. As you both have added so much to our temple community and beyond, offering your time and your talent and heart over and over again. May your life together continue to be one in which you continue to embrace and nurture each other. May you know that you're celebrated here in this sacred place by your extended congregational family, and may you continue to be blessed with family and friends who share in your life's joys and sorrows. May you be blessed with continued devotion and commitment. May you be blessed with a home filled with strength and faith, and may you always find blessing in each other. The path of life, as you know, is often unpredictable. May God continue to watch over you, sheltering you by day and bringing you rest and comfort through the night. We thank you, Adonai, who in love has allowed you to reach both of these sacred milestones. And so Steve and Angela, having shared these 40 wonderful years together with hearts intertwined, so may you look to tomorrow and beyond with God's blessing abounding, filling your lives with sweetness, with hope, with health, and with ever abounding love. Amen. And so we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, O God, whose presence fills creation, giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach these moments of joy. Amen. From blessing to blessing, we take this moment now to offer prayers for those in our lives, in our community, who are in need of healing of body and mind and spirit. If there's someone in your life, someone you hold in your heart, who is on your mind that could use our prayers, I invite you to think about them now. Close your eyes if you wish, so you can picture them and whisper their names out loud. And so, strengthened by each other's presence, we join together singing a prayer for healing. It is on your service supplement. El Na Rafan Allah. It is a call and response. I'm going to call Rabbi Jurgen, and all of you are going to respond. Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
help us renew our faith.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our days.
El Na Rafan Allah, Rafan Alanu. El Na Rafan Allah, Rafan Alanu. Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our minds.
Help clarify our minds.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our lights.
Rejuvenate our lives.
El Na Rafan Allah, Rafan Alanu. El Na Rafan Allah, Rafan Alanu. El Na Rafan Allah, Rafan Alanu. Take a few moments for your own personal prayers for peace. Ose Shalom, Bihim Rama, Huyase Shalom, Huyase Shalom Aleinu, Yase Shalom Aleinu, shalom, v'im rama. Hu yaseh shalom, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, yaseh shalom aleinu. Yoshvei Tevel, v'yimeru amin, v'yimeru amen. We ask for peace on earth, and we say amen. V'yimeru amin, v'yimeru amen. We raise our voice as one, and we say amen.
In the Torah portion this week of Naso, I am always drawn to talking about the priestly benediction, the oldest prayer we know. Having written on it last year and years before that as well, I tore myself away from the easy part of the Torah portion. What became easy then was using Corey Palmer's Devar Torah, which he was excited to give tonight and unfortunately could not. Then for the basis of the new Devar Torah, I found myself writing. In Corey's Devar, which I think I might have him give next year instead, he already knows. I told him. He drew me to a new concept, zrizut, a midah found in the practice of musar, a Jewish mindfulness practice that focuses on traits and how they can be used for each individual. Zrizut is one of those traits and is understood as alacrity, enthusiasm, and persistence. Now, to be honest, I have not done a lot of work in Musar, so I learned a lot from Corey in relation to Zrizut and Naso, this Torah portion. Before I jump into all of that, I want to give you some context of the Torah portion besides the priestly benediction. In Naso, which is the longest Torah portion in the entire Torah, there is a lot packed in. It begins with yet another census, the typical in the book of Numbers. Then God tells Moses how to handle and engage with people who are ritually unclean and those who are repenting, and then those who are suspected of adultery, definitely a subject for a different time. Then we come to the beginning of chapter 6, right before the priestly benediction, where we learn about the Nazarites, a group of people who have agreed to take a vow, which is very strict and holds them to very high standards. The last chapter highlights include the sanctuary being consecrated, the tribal chiefs giving offerings, and then Moses talking to God inside the tent of meeting. A lot of things happening. So when we get back to the idea of Corey had of the Zrizut and Naso, he focuses in on these Nazarites. He explained, Zrizut is the get up and go midah, the driving impulse to see a task through to completion, to follow through on a task step by step, no matter how long it takes, so that the task is thoroughly completed. In her essay in the Musar Torah commentary, Rabbi Marcia Plum points out that the word Nazir, from which we derive Nazarite, comes from the same shoresh, the Hebrew root word, as Zrizut. Nazir means consecrated or separated. The Nazarites are Israelites who voluntarily make a commitment to be in service of God that requires them to consecrate themselves by observing additional purity requirements, which are outlined in the Torah portion. They are to abstain from all wine and anything else made from grapes, means no grape juice at Oneg, abstain from cutting their hair, and to avoid ritual impurity by contact with the deceased or their burial plots, even those of their own family members. Rabbi Plum drew parallels between the Nazarites' focus on their path by imposing the required restrictions and their ability to avoid temptation to stray from that path with zrizut. Corey continued, unlike the Kohanim and the Levites, the Nazarites were not told by a virtue of their lineage that they were bound and destined for a life of public service. The Nazarites took it upon themselves to take on these restrictions designed to set them apart from others and consecrate themselves to God. This commitment was not one to be taken lightly, and while the period of time to which a Nazarite was committed was also voluntary and frequently temporary, the choice still resounds that their commitment to the service of God required zrizut to follow through. All of this to say, I loved his connection making. The Nazarites used zrizut to show their passion and excitement for all that they committed themselves to for God and for the Israelites. This makes sense to me. And yet, I kept thinking, could each Nazarite really keep up with all of those rules for that long? They aren't held to those standards by anyone but themselves, by a vow that they made and could break when they felt that they were done. I'm not sure if I was in that position of Nazarite, if that kind of knowledge of, I could be done with this when I wanted, would make me want to work harder and be stricter longer, or if it would let myself give up earlier. Would I really stick with it? This line of thinking was exacerbated for me as I read in Rabbi Plum's article. A third way to understand zrizut is having the determination to restrain oneself from acting. Just as we need zrizut to help us act, zrizut can help us have the discipline not to act. Zrizut helps us refrain from indulging in self-destructive behavior. So, could I use zrizut to help me not take a Nazarite vow? Could not engaging with my family during times of mourning be something considered self-destructive behavior for me? Could going so far and taking on so much be self-destructive behavior for me? Maybe. But that's not really the point of Musar and the concept of zrizut. The point is to use these concepts of these traits to improve ourselves, to highlight the great ways that each midah can impact our lives, and to find that balance of the traits. As my grandma always says, probably watching tonight, it takes all kinds of people. And it does. For our world to keep going, we must all be different. Maybe I wasn't meant to be a Nazarite if I'm thinking of using the midah of zrizut in a way of restraint, extended to include not being a Nazarite. I focused on the negative ways of looking at the aspects of the vow that they are making. At the same time, it is astonishing to me how we barely ever hear about the Nazarites or the Nazarite vow in mainstream conversations about Judaism. Instead, the Kohanim are the group we think of when talking about a group who took on the strictest requirements and laws to serve God and the Israelites. The difference between the Kohanim and the Nazarites is that the requirements are thrust upon the Kohanim by way of familial line, while the Nazarites accept the vow, volunteering for it, challenging themselves, and showing that they can be truly selfless. Corey highlights this interpretation as he encourages people to find what excites them and energizes them, specifically at Temple Beth-El, and be one of the people in It Takes All Kinds to help make Temple a fuller place and community, just like the Nazarites did for the Israelite people, filling out their community and finding their own place. Combine the two understandings of zrizut. Recognize the importance of being a volunteer and being excited, inspired, and passionate about things at Temple, and Recognize your boundaries and limits to not overextend yourself. The Nazarites took on so many things by accepting the vow, encouraged to serve God and the Israelites. At the same time, these strict laws could be a breaking point, and Zrizut reminds us not to go that far. That's when the Nazarites could step down from that position. As we enter summer, and for some people, life seems to slow down a little bit, let us think about how we can use the break to be inspired and also give ourselves that break, finding that balance of Zrizut in the way it was intended to better ourselves. Shabbat Shalom.
I'm playing the cantor today.
Go for it.
All right. We continue with the concluding portion of our service. Alinu is on page 283. Alinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדילה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורר עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. Page 291 for our memorial meditation. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were, in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community and our extended community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Carol Abel, Norman G. Allen, Juliet Art, A. Melvin August Jr., Barbara F. Baum, Jack Burgavoy, Larry Berkman, Dolores Birkin, Fanny Blum, Violet Braun, James Dick, Dr. Stephen Elbine, Sarah Feller, Wilma Fisher, Jay Ginsberg, Abe Gittleson, Harry Ralph Goldman, Joshua Granofsky, Muriel Green, Boris Grinman, Ruth Jean Gerwitz, Edith Harris, Eskar Hoffman, Stanley Jack Hoffman, Jacob Carfield, Harold Kelfer, Beatrice Kerman, Barbara Kaiser, Becky Feinsilver Krasnow, Rose Frances Cronish, Irving Latt, Miriam Elaine Leff, Max Levin, Joyce Novich Lyons, Nieves Madrid Avila, Madge Mullen, Gloria Apatowski, Evelyn Oppenheimer, Robert O. Oseson, Joe Porterfield, Neil Porterfield, Chaya Rabinovich, Consuelo G. Rodriguez, Ida Milgram Rosenman, Edgar Sanditon, Phyllis Schoener, Harry Stahl, Evelyn Stein, Joanne Stockstiel, Florence Rono Strelke, Morris Strum, Benjamin Sheriff, Harvey Tamon, Dr. Arthur Skip Urbach, Doris Aline Paris Vitali, Eugene Leslie Wayne, Amnon Weidenfeld, Rosa Wolf, Harry A. Wood Jr., and Hazel Wolf. To these names, we add those who've been buried in the past 30 days, whose families are in a mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Michael Powerstein, Alvin Weiss, Paul Harold Friedman, Marshall Seidman, Nathan Schlenker, Christopher George, James Fenstermacher, and David Strauss. We also add the names of two who've been buried this week, whose families are in a mourning period of Shiva. We remember Miriam Grossman, mother of Joni and Saul Schwartz, Marty Raba, Jack Hyman, and Tony Kotka, grandmother of Scott and Jennifer Alpert, Lee and Roberta Schwartz, Lainey and Randy Davis, great-grandmother of Nick, Colby, Alexa, and Paige Davis, Rena, Kayla, and Alex Schwartz, Cade and Callie Alpert, and Andrew Phipps. We also remember Jeannie Ann Rudd, wife of Harvey, mother of Rochelle Abelow, Russell and Dayanara Rudd, and Jason Rudd, grandmother of Julia Abelow, Samantha Abelow, and Maya Abelow, sister of Sadhana Singh. To all of these names, we add those which are in our hearts each and every day as we turn to page 294 for Kaddish Yatom, rising together as one community. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'mei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudasha b'richu, La'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, u'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It is my honor to call forward Debbie Roos, President of our Board of Trustees, to deliver tonight's announcements.
Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone, and I'm so glad that you could join us in our sanctuary or in your own sacred space. Thanks to everyone who participated in our service this evening. You add to the inspiration and celebration of our worship service. This is my third week of dreaming, and so far I've been dreaming about our magnificent sanctuary. To date, I've envisioned a space without these steps and a place where we can be united physically and virtually through screens and additional technology. My third dream was inspired as I returned to my seat last week. My backside was met with what I would call the feeling of my great-grandmother's mattress. The springs were subtle for sure, but I couldn't stop feeling them, especially as I adjusted myself along the puritanical wooden backrest to find a comfortable spot. Let me be clear, this is not a maintenance issue. This is just our chairs. Of all the amazing things in our sanctuary, I have never heard anyone rave about our chairs. With that said, I am sure that I have inadvertently offended a portion of our congregation. My sincerest apologies for that. That is not my intention. My intention is, however, to help us all envision what is possible, and that is this: beautiful, worship-inviting chairs that are appropriately sized and that can be configured such that you might be able to see your friends' faces across the room versus the backs of their head or just their profiles. Now that's comfort and community. And yes, no springs. If the stairs or springs don't inspire you, maybe chairs do. So I ask you sincerely, what are you dreaming about? So here are some upcoming events at the temple. Every Friday night at 6 p.m., what do you think's happening? Pre-Oneg Shabbat. Pre-Shabbat Oneg, or depends on which order. And as we share in snacks and community as we prepare to welcome Shabbat. Please join Temple Beth-El as we prepare for and participate in the San Antonio Pride Parade. On Saturday, June 18th, immediately following Shabbat services, we'll be tie-dyeing our Temple Beth-El Pride 2022 t-shirts and eating pizza. The cost is $15, and that includes a t-shirt, supplies to tie-dye, and lunch. If you can't attend the tie-dye party, we will tie-dye it for you, and you can pick up your t-shirt the day of the parade. Please contact Ross Halfant for further information. Then on Saturday, June 25th at 9 p.m., join Temple Beth-El in the TBE 20s 30s as we march in the San Antonio Pride Parade. Havdalah will precede the march at 7:30 p.m. Meeting locations will be sent prior to the events for all registered. Temple Beth-El is hosting a community blood drive on Saturday, June 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Donations are made by appointment only. Our community, including local and surrounding areas, could very much use your help at this time. Information and details about these events and many other opportunities can be found on our website and in the weekly email. Shabbat Shalom.
Our closing song is Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat. The words are conveniently listed on your service handouts. It's kind of an oldie but a goodie, so I hope you will sing with us, please. And clap. Yeah, clap, sing, dance. But first of all, rise. Yeah.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי דב ועלי פגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שמחתני אדוני בפועלך, מעשה ידיך אענה. מה גדול מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Shabbat Shalom. And happy birthday, Debbie Ruth.